Are you feeling stuck in your business, professional or personal life? Or are you struggling to find purpose and direction? Imagine having a clear sense of direction, achieving your goals, and living a fulfilling life. Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult is here to help you. We will work with you to identify your strengths, overcome obstacles, and develop a personalized plan to achieve your dreams. With our coaching and consulting services, you will gain clarity, confidence, and the tools you need to succeed. Do not let fear, lack of clarity, or doubt hold you back any longer. Take the first step towards achieving your goals and living your best life. Contact Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult today. Joy Onyesoh Coaching Consult, empowering you to reach your full potential. Call, SMS, or WhatsApp +234 704 229 1171. Or you can visit our website www.joyonyesohcoachingconsult.com.
Hi, hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Friday Night Hangout. Yay! Who is excited to be here? Oh, I'm really super excited to welcome you to another exciting time. This is where we hang out. I'm your host, and my name is Joy Onyesoh. I'm super excited because tonight we are going to finalize the conversation we've been having over the last couple of weeks, right? We've been talking about the reserved seats for women, what you need to know. This is a very topical conversation. And in fact, that bill has been tagged the most popular bill in this constitution review or the public hearings going on. Recently just concluded. Oh, some zones are still having the federal reps hearing, so, it's still, the conversation is still ongoing. But this has been tagged the most popular bill. So the conversation is on, what do you need to know about this bill? For some of us, we're just hearing of it for the first time. For some of us, we've really heard about it, but we don't understand what it really means. And for some, we're really down with the bill, right? So we have a special guest in the house tonight. But before I bring that in, I always like to know how your week has been, because thank God it's Friday. Today is Friday. For a lot of us, this marks the slowing down for the week, and we've given ourselves the permission to smell the roses, have some fun, hang out like we're hanging out tonight. Okay, so use your comment section. Tell me where you're commenting from. Don't forget to put your hashtag TGIF, hashtag thank God it's Friday, hashtag whatever you want to put in there, but it's still Friday night hangout with Joy Onyesoh. Okay, we're bringing in our guest, an amazing, energetic young woman, Dr. Onyesoh. I'm so excited to have her in. Welcome.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. She's also my
Thank you.
namesake because she has Ada in her name. Okay, so she's my namesake as well. Okay, so Dr. Onyesoh, welcome. I call her Dr. Onyesoh, but she's going to tell you her full names. We're hearing you very well. Your visual is beautiful. Thank you for making our time to join us. And please, can you just introduce yourself so people who are meeting you for the first time may get to know more about you before we delve into the conversation for tonight?
Okay. My name is Ambassador Dr. Onyesoh Ada Izigeri Chalo. I'm a woman who wears so many caps. So I'm a researcher, a writer, a humanitarian, a public health consultant, and I'm a politician. I do so many things. And recently I was inaugurated as one of the UN and Pan Girls and Women Speak Ambassadors for 2025. But lastly, just a woman who is very intentional about changing and redefining the narratives for good. Thank you. And thank you so much, Prof, for having me here and for this great opportunity. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow, welcome, welcome, Dr. Jason. Welcome to have you. My namesake Ada, Ambassador Doctor. She has so many caps, right? I'm always excited and inspired and happy and proud to be a woman when I see a young woman, middle-aged woman, and elderly woman, wearing so many caps because just being a woman by itself is a lot. And then when you see women who are accomplished in different endeavors, then we need to celebrate. So I celebrate you today, my dear sister, and thank you for making our time to join us. So we are going to be
Thank you.
discussing. You're welcome, my dear. We're going to be discussing the reserved seats for women. What you need to know. Now, Ambassador, you mentioned that you wear so many hats, right? But I'm interested in knowing what inspired your advocacy for the reserved seats for women, and then what does this mean for women's representation in politics?
Okay. For the benefit of people that are yet to know what the reserved seats for women really is, it's a bill, that seeks to create reserved seats for women in the National and State Assembly. For me, when I realized that women who make 50% of Nigeria's population hold less than 5% of the legislative seats, I knew something had to change. Currently we have only 4 women senators and 16 women representatives in the 469 member seats in the National House of Assembly. And at the state level, only 55 women occupy elective positions in the states out of 990 total seats. So you would agree with me that this is a huge political deficit. How can women who make up 50% of our population hold, you know, less than 5% of the legislative seats? So when I saw the statistics, I knew the reserved seat bill for women is something worth pursuing and something worth pushing. And when we talk about this reserved seat, for me, I see it as a step towards ensuring that more women get into political leadership and in decision-making positions. The bill it's all about fairness. We are not coming to take the power from men. It's all about inclusion to correct the long years of underrepresentation of women in politics. And I believe if this bill is passed, it will benefit all Nigerians, not only for women, in as much as it will also open up doors for more voices of women to be heard. So, coming to the question you asked about the importance of having more female representation in Nigeria National and State House of Assembly, I will discuss that under 3 factors: the democratic factor, the economic factor, and the social factor. So when we look at these 3 factors, we'll be able to know that the reserved seats bill for women is actually something everyone should support. So fundamentally, in the fundamental principles of democracy, the fundamental principles of democracy is that elected bodies should reflect the composition of the population they serve. So, with women making up 50% of Nigeria's population and holding less, like I said before, less 5% seats, you will agree with me that we don't have true representation in Nigeria, especially the female gender. So, when women are adequately represented, the legislative body will gain legitimacy and credibility among all citizens. This is one of the significance, one of the important things we will gain. It will create a society that where we have an inclusive assembly, where people will know, okay, their gender is represented, we are not marginalized, and also when policies are made, people will accept and support it. So another significant benefit is the diverse perspective and better decision making it will bring to our polity. You would agree with me that women bring different life experiences, priorities, and approaches to problem solving, and these things are essential to comprehensive policy making. So I believe when this is done, women legislators would prioritize issues that might be overlooked or undervalued by the male-dominated assemblies. When we talk about maternal health care, child care, family welfare, domestic violence, these aren't just women issues. They affect entire families. And so when we bring women into the place of policy making, they will definitely make policies that will help in national development. So another benefit we will have doing that is addressing the gender specific challenges. A lot of policies affect women, and require lived experiences and deep understanding to address. For example, when we talk about maternal mortality, workplace discrimination, these issues need advocates who understand their complexities and urgency. There are some things men can't, when it comes to our experience, it's better lived. And not until you've had that experience, you might not know how to tackle it, the psychological parts of it and all that. So I believe when we have more female legislators, we are more likely to champion laws, that will protect women's rights, promote gender equality, address from participating fully in their economic and social lives, inheritance laws, protection from discrimination. You would agree with me that these issues require nuanced policy responses. So we need more female representation in the National and State Assembly. Another benefits that would come with this bill if passed is economic development and growth. Countries with higher levels of women political participation tend to have stronger economies and better development outcomes. I know people might argue with me on this, but when women are involved in crafting economic policies, they often focus on inclusive growth. Usually, it's not only about us. We usually would focus on inclusive growth that benefits broader segments of the society. Do you understand? So there's no way someone will sit up and say this bill shouldn't be passed. It's all about women. Women are trying to be equal to men. Health? No, 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 no. It's not. We have a lot to benefit when we give more women seats at the table. When we ensure that more women come into the place of political leadership. Another benefit, I would say, it would be improved governance. A lot of studies have shown that countries that have more women in political offices are associated with lower levels of corruption and even more transparent governance, because a woman in the legislature or in a place of authority would often bring different ethical standards and approaches to public service, because we are nurturers. You don't have to be a mother to know how to nurture. It's in our nature. And that would definitely help to improve the overall governance quality in Nigeria. As women, we tend to also be more collaborative in our approach to lawmaking, and we are more focused on when it comes to consensus building and building more sustainable and wide accepted policy. Then another very important benefit I know this will have is that when we have more women, more visible women in leadership, it will inspire other women. It will inspire girls to pursue education, to pursue careers, to pursue more civic engagement. Because when young girls see women making laws, leading debates in the assemblies, it will expand their vision and of what is possible for their own lives. So I believe this representation will help normalize women participation in public life, and it will gradually shift the cultural attitude, that limits women's role in the society, because, it will help demonstrate that women are equally capable of handling complex. Hello, can you still hear me? Hello? Hello?
Yes, very well. We're hearing
Very
you. Go
well. We're
ahead.
hearing you. Go ahead.
Go
Okay,
ahead. We can
okay.
hear you.
We
Go
can
ahead.
hear you. Go ahead.
It will also help demonstrate that women are equally capable of handling complex policy issues and leadership responsibilities. Another benefit is that women, when we are in position, we know how to allocate, we will know how to allocate more resources that will affect fundamental areas that has to do with human development. Then another key benefits we will have is that having adequate representation will help Nigeria as a country to meet the international commitments and development goals. The UN Sustainable Development Goals, has to be increased, and Nigeria's poor performance in this area is affecting our international standard. So when we do this, it will help, improve our international image, and also lead to access to development partnerships. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ambassador
Thank
Chie. So
you
this is
so much.
it's been
Thank
a
you
very
so much,
robust
Ambassador Cheers. So this is a very robust.
it's been a robust conversation, just having you explicitly, take us through the importance and the benefits of the reserved seats for women. And as you can all see, it's not just for women, it's for not even just for Nigeria, but for the world, because whatever impact we create here has a way of tickling down into different nooks and crannies and being exported globally. She talked about the SDG goals. She also talked about Nigeria's global image. Our global image is not very good at this time in respect when we talk about women's participation in politics, women's participation in decision making, or even our gender equality index is not good at all. And so when we're able to address these gaps, you would see that Nigeria as a country begin to flourish. And one of that good things she brought out clearly is women's lived experience. We have experience managing and leading at different levels. If you come to the micro level, we're there. If you come to the meso level, we're there. You even look at the meta level and the macro level, we're also there. So why would you want to disenfranchise and exclude a very fundamental and integral part of your population from representation and from decision making? You would find out that things are not going to work out very well. She also raised a very valid issue on crafting of economic policy. I love the language she used, crafting. If women bring in their lived experience into crafting of policies, we would see a lot of shift in some of these economic policies we have right now, and even in taxations and all of that. So we need more women to come on board. Thank you so much, Ambassador. Now, to just draw from what you said, you talked about inspiring young women, inspiring girls to want to come into positions of leadership. Now, I want to ask you that as a trailblazer in your own right, what advice would you give to young women who may want to come into positions of leadership or participate in politics, but are also wary of obstacles or discouragements and all of that? What advice would you give to them?
Say the truth, it's usually not an easy thing to do. It's always not easy, but everything is doable. I believe where there is a will, there will always be a way. So for ladies that want to come into politics, the first thing I usually would tell them is to be real. The greatest power they would have is to be their authentic self. I won't sugarcoat it. The obstacles are real. You will be faced with people who will question your qualifications, your motivation, your ability to balance family and career. But when you're aware that these challenges will come, you will have to be better prepared, because the challenges are there because the change is needed, not because you don't belong, to the leadership class. So there are a few practical advice I might give. One is for you to build your foundation. It's not always easy, but if you're able to build your foundation, when I mean building foundation, I mean, starting up with issues, with areas that you're passionate about. Like I said before, being authentic would be your greatest strength when you start operating from the areas you're passionate about. Then after, as you're functioning in that area, you get involved with people locally, you develop your skills through training, programs, and mentorship. As I am now, I still train. I read a lot of books. There are areas that I still need to improve on myself. So to come into politics, to come into the place of leadership, you need to develop skills. Through it, like I said, either through mentorship or through training programs. And another practical advice I would give is for them to create a support network. That will still bring me to the place of finding mentors. Women that have walked the path you want to walk on, women that has experiences to share with you, and allies that believe in your vision. Connect with other young women with similar aspiration and build relationship. In politics, you can't make it just being in one, just cocooning yourself. So you need to build relationships across party lines, even across demographic groups. Then another practical advice I will give is to build resilience. You have to develop a thick skin, but in developing that thick skin, you don't have to lose your empathy. So you remember that developing that thick skin will tell you that for every no, that every no teaches you something for the next years. So to succeed in politics, you have to focus on the change you want to create and not the obstacle. Thank you.
You're listening, you're
You're,
learning,
you're
young
listening,
girls.
you're learning, young girls.
There would always be obstacles, but just know that you can overcome those obstacles. Now, before we ask her the final question, we were looking at time. We have some few minutes left. We're going to go on a break. Don't go anywhere. The final question is something you would really love to listen to, right? So before we ask her the final question, let's just go on a very short break and we'll be right back. Stay with us, please. Welcome to our She Speaks Masterclass on sustaining momentum, strategies for long-term impact. Are you a visionary and ambitious woman ready to scale your business and grow your impact? I am Joy Onyesoh, and I invite you to unlock your full potential by attending this 2-hour virtual masterclass. In this class, you will discover the secrets to sustaining growth, empowerment, and success in your business. We'll cover the fundamentals of business development, building a sustainable structure, and accessing resources for growth. By joining this masterclass, you'll gain clarity on business development principles to drive growth and success, a sustainable structure to support long-term expansion and momentum, resources for growth to fuel your business expansion, and a strong personal brand to attract opportunities and impact. That's not all. You will walk away with a clear plan to sustain momentum in your business, strategies to overcome obstacles and stay focused, and a supportive community of like-minded women holding you accountable, and of course, practical tools to drive long-term impact and success. So, register now for our Sustaining Momentum Masterclass happening on the 30th of August 2025 and take the first step towards achieving long-term success and impact. And you know what? Distance is not a barrier because this is holding virtually. Do not miss out on this opportunity to sustain momentum in your business. Register now and let's get started on this journey to success. See you on August 30th, 2025. Follow us on social media for updates and behind the scenes insights. See you in class.
Are you tired of the same old boring meals? Want to add some excitement to your taste buds? Look no further than Mavico Foods. Our delicious, healthy, and nutritious products will take your meals to the next level. From our savory snacks to our healthy food options, Mavico Foods has something for everyone. Our commitment to quality, taste, and healthy living means you can trust our products to always deliver. So, why settle for boring when you can have amazing? Choose Mavico Foods and taste the difference for yourself. Place your order now. Call or SMS 0809 701 1119 or visit our website at www.mavicostores.com. Mavico Foods, original from nature.
And the conversation is still on. We have with us in the studio tonight amazing Ambassador Dr. Onyesoh, and she's been giving us, back-to-back inspiring conversations. It's been very robust. And just as we're planning to wrap up, we have one more question. Use the comment sessions if you have questions for her, please put it in the comment section. And we also love to read from you, your experience, your thoughts, your comments. Please use the comment section. We want to keep it very interactive. We'll be looking out to see if there are any questions for her. But while we're waiting for that, we'll be asking her the last question in view of time. Now, we've talked a lot about the importance of increased women's representation in decision-making and politics in Nigeria. So what approach can we take to foster a more, to foster collaboration towards gender equality or equity, as some people might push in Nigeria? How can we make it a more collaborative approach?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. I believe that gender equity isn't a zero-sum game. When women succeed, families succeed, communities succeed, and Nigeria will definitely succeed. So for me, I believe to create a more collaborative atmosphere, we will be needing the men, to support the bill. The men have everything to gain from supporting this bill. For me, I feel that's how we would, we will build a more collaborative effort towards this. We need more male legislators. For example, the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Benjamin Kalu, you can see what he's doing. He was the one that championed and sponsored the reserve seat bill. So if you can have more male support for this bill, I know definitely the bill will definitely go through. We need male political leaders that will use their platform to advocate for women's participation. We also need men that can come in to, contribute to fund women's campaign towards this reserved bill. And coming to the cultural challenges, we cannot win without the men. Like I always say, the bill is not about taking the power from the men. It's all about joining forces with the men, to contribute our own quota towards a sustainable national development. So to solve the cultural challenges, the men would help us, in the discriminatory attitudes towards women in politics, and also changing the narratives about women's capabilities to lead. And they can also help us to foster a more collaborative approach towards achieving the gender equity through shared approach. When I mean shared approach, when we all have this notion, and agree that we are doing this thing as a framework to build a stronger Nigeria, we are doing this thing to build a more diverse leadership that will produce a better outcome. Having that shared vision approach will really, really, really help us to succeed in this. Another approach will be to have an inclusive dialogue, creating spaces where we will have honest conversations about the state of the economy, about our fears, about our concerns, and also celebrating partnerships. Like there's this adage in Igbo that says, na iko to onye, iko to onye ada akwatu ugu. Meaning, or not until we all come together to do this, we will not achieve something sustainable. Thank you. So let me also add this. Some men may worry about supporting women. It would mean losing their power. But the truth is, effective leadership isn't about holding power. It's about using the power to create positive change. So I believe when men support equity by supporting us in this bill, they are also creating the kind of leadership that Nigeria needs. Thank you.
Dr. Ambassador Chisom, to have you here tonight, and you've done great justice to the conversation on the reserved seats for women. And in case you joined in late, not to worry, you can watch the replay. We're also going to be sharing the links across several platforms for people who did not meet up with time to also watch the replay. And I just want to encourage us. There's a whole lot we have to do. It's not just meant for one person. We're all advocates of this. In your little space, talk about this bill. If you don't know much about the bill, talk about the importance of having women participate in processes. And I will ask you, how are you opening doors for women in your own space? Because you must have a woman or two or more in your space. You must have young women, young girls. How do you ensure that they participate in decision making? How do you open doors for them? Or are you restricting them? So it's all about the little things we do every day that makes up to the larger picture. So we all have something to add to the conversation. We all have a role to play. We've heard it from Dr. Onyesoh. No, we all have a role to play. And please, if you're wondering what can you do, start from where you are. Start from where you are. Be democratic in your approach. Support women, support young girls, listen to them, give them opportunities. Leadership is not based on gender, it's based on capacity. No one is born a leader. We all learn the process. So thank you so much for joining us in. Dr. Onyesoh, I don't know if you have a final word before we wrap up.
My mic is muted. Okay. I do. I want to categorically state that this reserved seat for women bill is the hammer we need, to break the barrier preventing women from participating in politics. Because I know once we do it, it will address a whole lot of things. It will address a whole lot of things. In as much as to be frank, in as much as the reserve seat bill is a temporal solution to a permanent problem, but it's good to start from there. It will not solve what we are, it will not solve the problem. It is a temporal solution to a permanent problem. But regardless, I think it's good to start from there. I know when we allow women to come into politics and to come into the place of leadership, the benefits abound. It will affect everyone positively. So I believe the time for action is now, because Nigeria cannot afford to keep wasting half of its talents. We are talented as women, so the time is now. Thank you very much. Thank you.
This is a special temporary measure. I hope to, solve the problem with legislations as we move along. Thank you so much, Honorable Obiajulu Princess Ugu, for joining in the program. We appreciate you for making our time. She says strong men actually support women. We just need our women to join forces. And I'm going to wrap up on this note that we need women to join forces. We need men to join forces. We need everyone to come to the table. All our voices must be amplified. We need everyone to have a seat at the table. And welcome once more as we're wrapping up. If I haven't called your name, it's not intentional. I see you all. Thank you for joining the Friday Night Hangout. We look forward to seeing you next week, Friday, where the conversation still continues. Thank you all. From my team and I, from the Friday Night Hangout studio, it's bye for now and see you next week Friday. Bye. Welcome to our She Speaks Masterclass on sustaining momentum, strategies for long-term impact. Are you a visionary and ambitious woman ready to scale your business and grow your impact? I am Joy Onyesoh, and I invite you to unlock your full potential by attending this 2-hour virtual masterclass. In this class, you will discover the secrets to sustaining growth, empowerment, and success in your business. We'll cover the fundamentals of business development, building a sustainable structure, and assessing resources for growth. By joining this masterclass, you'll gain clarity on business development principles to drive growth and success, a sustainable structure to support long-term expansion and momentum, resources for growth to fuel your business expansion, and a strong personal brand to attract opportunities and impact. That's not all. You'll walk away with a clear plan to sustain momentum in your business, strategies to overcome obstacles and stay focused, and a supportive community of like-minded women holding you accountable, and of course, practical tools to drive long-term impact and success. So, register now for our Sustaining Momentum Masterclass happening on the 30th of August 2025 and take the first step towards achieving long-term success and impact. And you know what? Distance is not a barrier because this is holding virtually. Do not miss out on this opportunity to sustain momentum in your business. Register now and let's get started on this journey to success. See you on August 30th, 2025. Follow us on social media for updates and behind the scene insights. See you in class.
This is Friday night, Hangout, creating our stories, piece by piece.